Here's a video on how to replace the cable in the seat in the middle row of a Dodge Grand Caravan. And the symptom of that cable needing to be being broken or needing to be replaced is if you try and close the seat. It closes up to this point, but as you can see, it doesn't fold up all the way as it should. So I'm going to show you how to replace that cable first. So here is all the tools you will need for the job. New cable kit. I'll put a link in the description box below where you can find one. There is a left and a right side for the middle row, but I don't think there's honestly too much of a difference between the sets. Maybe between the actual cable recliner, which is a different piece than what we're working on today, but I don't see how the cable that we'll be using and replacing today would be any different between the sets. So I'll put a link in the description box below to both of them. I'll be working specifically on the right side, but it's the exact same for the left. Regardless, you'll need some screwdrivers, 2 Phillips heads, or flat heads, excuse me, and then a Phillips head, a knife to cut some of the zip ties, a hammer in case you need some help getting some leverage of getting the old cable through one of the notches and back in. And you technically also need a Torx bit, but I just use this is what I use this small flat tip screwdriver for. You'll see me use it in the video, but you can obviously use the right Torx bit for that. But regardless, here's the part number for the right hand side, and let's get started. Alright, so I'm behind the seat right now, and what we want to do is pull up this flap here to expose the screw over here where the cable is housed. This little plastic piece, trim piece, needs to come off. So what we'll do is, let me hold this in place. Screwdriver. We can take this off. Okay. Yeah, that plastic piece off. Now we just need to pull this out. There we go. So now we have exposed here where that cable runs and lets the seat down. So I'll show you the back side of this plastic trim part. There's 2 little clips here that will need to pop out. One right there and one down there, and there's one there too. So just know that once you unscrew it, you'll just need to pull this trim piece away from the seat gently, and then you should be able to pull this off. Anyway, back to this part. So this right here is the cable that should wrap up here, hook on into this part right here, and this actually allows the seat to go up all the way. So as you can see, it's gone. It's completely destroyed and gone. So that's why the seat won't close all the way and lift up. So I'll show you how to replace that. So to make it easier to work on the seat, let's go down below the back of the seat. Move to the side here. And if you can see, right, I can show it to you better here. Right, a little dark. I don't know if you can see. Right there is a cable right here. So if you push this up all the way, that actually can manually release the seat. So now we can work on the seat much easier. So with the seat up in the air now, just thought I'd show you another profile of that spring here, this lever that you can push up like this to release the seat in case you want to work on it or you just don't want to replace the cable. Anyway, so with that, now we can keep working on the seat. Alright, so the next thing we need to take off is this plastic trim piece, because ultimately we need to take off the cover from the seat, so we need to get off all the trim pieces. So let's... Alright, I need a bigger Phillips head. Alright, so I have my bigger screwdriver here. Away, and now we can pop this cover off. I think there's actually maybe another screw under here. Oh, yep, there is. So don't get too crazy. I'm pulling this thing out. There's another screw right there. So I'm going to unscrew that off camera, and we should be able to pull the trim out. All right, now with the seat up in the air, what we want to do is start to remove the, show you on this side, the cover for the seat. So if you look on the inside of the seat, all right here is where the seat wraps around. So you can use a screwdriver or whatever, just slowly pull apart. You can see better there, this liner that surrounds the seat. So I'm going to do that on both sides here. So you can see it's already starting to come off. And we'll get to that point. So now I actually have the seat down, maybe to give you a better idea. So what we're trying to do is pull this liner from underneath the frame of the seat. So just pull it down. Then here you can see there's a little clip in there. So we just want to pull that clip gently out, just like that. And this is now mostly off on this side. And now I'll do the same thing on this side. Just find that clip, gently pull it off. Okay, and then this should start to move. All right, good. So now we have the sides done. Now what we want to do is get the seat cover off the seat. So what we want to do is we can start from the back here, pull this forward, and kind of help this part along just so you don't tear anything. But yeah, we're just going to slowly kind of maneuver this forward. As you can see, we've got these off here, so now I'm just going to take my time pulling this all the way through this whole foam piece, making sure that little tail gets out without ripping. So I'm going to do that off camera, but you get the idea. Alright, so as you can see, I pulled this thing out. I was able to get that little tail part out. I just pushed that tail piece as I pulled this side through underneath the back of the seat. And now I can just kind of rock this forward like that. And now we can get access to where the spring is. So we just need to remove this cover right here, and then the spring, as you can start to see, or excuse me, the coil is underneath there. See here, nothing, as you can see here, nothing too crazy. We just got to pull this cover forward. It might be helpful to use a screwdriver or something. So what we want to do is pull these through that. Maybe I'll get a screwdriver. Just want to pull this forward so that we can get this cover off, this other liner off. So I'll do that off camera because I'm going to need both my hands. Alright, so now that we have that kind of webbed mesh piece off, there's only one more cover I promise that we need to get off, and it's this one right here. So what we'll need to do is, if we flip the seat up again, there's a torque screw underneath here that we need to unscrew. We can take this off, and that will finally get us access to the coil we need to replace. Alright, so here we are underneath the seat with it lifted up. Hopefully you can kind of see this right there. That is the torque screw that we need to get out. And I do not have a torque bit set with me. I'm at my dad's place fixing this seat. So I am doing the unpardonable by using a flathead screwdriver that's small enough to fit in to loosen that screw. Now that's off, so we can get that cover off. Alright, so we have a bird's eye view of the seat now. As you can see, this cable is the one that runs along this side of the seat. So if we just follow that, we can see, oops, it goes here all the way around right here. So this whole thing, this whole coil, we're going to replace. So we can just start taking it apart, pulling it through, taking off these through these clips. Okay, so to get this old coil off, we can start right here by taking off this piece. It just slides off, but there's too much tension on that coil right now. So what we actually have to do is take off this spring here so that this part will loosen up such that we can pull this coil off. Because right now we can't, it's too tight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my handy screwdriver and then just pull up, or you can use pliers, just get this spring off of this lever here such that we can finally get this coil out. So I'm going to do that again off camera, but that will help us to finally get out this old piece. So I decided, instead of working on the inside first, I'd work kind of from this end of the spring or coil. So what you'll want to do is, now that that spring is loosened, you should be able to maneuver this side and actually get enough loosened tension to pull this string out, this coil out. Mine is, as you saw before, stuck in here, so honestly I might just cut this so I don't have to deal with it. But anyway, whatever way you can, just get this old coil out, and that should get us to the next step. Alright, so I got a little overzealous here, and I destroyed this poor sucker trying to get it out of the hole here, but regardless, pull that down, and now all we have to do is remove it from these little zip ties and clips. And so these clips you don't necessarily have to destroy. If you slide them sideways like so, you can get them to slide open. So I don't know if you can see. So again, I might have to do this one-handed or two-handed. But yeah, just slide those off, and that should give you access to open this top half up so that you can pull this coil out. Alright, so as you can see, pulled it out from here, and here, probably won't be able to see the teeth on here, but maybe you can actually. You can see these just slide out so you can reuse them. Sometimes they get brittle and break, and the new kit does come with new ones if you want to get new ones, but sometimes you can reuse them. So now all we gotta do is remove the zip ties that are left on here. So, and the kit does come with one, so don't feel too stressed. There's one right here that we need to cut, and then there's another one here that we'll probably have to cut as well. So anyway, thought I'd show you that. Let me give you a close-up if that's helpful for reference. And yeah, once we cut that, we can remove this part here. That just kind of slides off, and then we'll be good to put the new coil on. All right, so now what we can do is pull out this cable from here, which means it should come off from here. All right, so we can pull this guy off from here and then pull that through out of this notch here. And then now we can finally get ready to cut this zip tie. I waited till the end because honestly these coils are all so close, and I was worried about cutting them that I wanted to have the space like this to make it easier to cut. So once we do that, it's time to put the new cable in. Alright, so what I'm going to do first is work on this side. So if we can take our new cable, what I'm going to do here is get it in through this little notch way. If I can, one-handed. Pull that through like that, and then make this, fold that in to stay, and then pull this down a little bit like that. There we go. So this side is now good. Have that held in place. That's not going anywhere. And then remember that this is going to slide up through here, and that this is going to go through that hole in the seat, so we can do that. Like that. And then this coils around, if you remember, something like this. And then this round part hooks over that nub. Right about there. Okay, hear that little click in. Sorry again for the terrible, terrible lighting. I'm in sunny Arizona right now, so anyway. So now what we need to do, the very last thing that we're going to do is put this little notched piece into here, because once you do that, there's going to be major tension on this thing. So just make sure to do this very last. So what now I'll do is hook these into these clips. I'm going to apologize in advance because for some reason I lost this recording of getting the actual cable into this slot right here on the side of the seat. So I just wanted to re-show you, since I know this is, I want to be thorough and want to help people out. So this is the new cable already and the job's already done, but I just thought I would refilm this. So basically, once you get this hooked up in here, like I showed you before, you can now pop this in. And the easiest way to do it, so here's the broken cable, so pretend that the rest of the cable with that little bent metal pieces at the top, all you want to do is slide this through up here, and then with a hammer or and a screwdriver or something, just tap this tapered piece through here. So as you can see, this part is sticking out right here. So just get it through here in the back, tap it through, and then it should pop on through here and stay. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, just one more time. Once, bring that line through, and then to get this plastic piece locked in here, just set it up behind here like so, and then tap it into place such that it'll pop through here and it'll stay. Alright, so now you'll just put that in, and then we'll be ready. And once that's zip tied, we're ready to put the seat back together. And then what you want to do is make sure to tighten up this zip tie that holds this in place, because there's nothing else holding this part down. So make sure you have that tight on there so that this coil can't lift up. And then we should be ready to put this back together. Next, you will just put on that plastic cover that goes over the top, covering all the coils, and then with that torque screw underneath, we'll probably get it started here while the seat is down, and then lift it up to tighten it the rest of the way. Now, just put in the mesh. Here's that screwdriver trick. We'll do both all the way around. And like that. And just like that, that mesh piece is in. And now we can start putting the seat cover back down. Now with the opposite of getting that seat cushion out, put the thin part in through first, and then just push the seat and the foam through until the hooks show up on both sides here. And then now what we'll do is go underneath the seats and attach the whole underside on both sides, and then put the trim pieces on. Here's the side of the seat. I just want to pull this over and around the metal part. Get all these pieces up here tucked up and around the seat. And the last thing we want to do as we get the sides on for the fabric is go underneath the front of the seat and remember to attach these buttons. And they should clip on both sides of the under part of the seat. Alright, so best way to do this is put this back piece behind the lever in first. And then once you get that behind the lever, come back around here, finagle this strap through the seat. And now we have this other trim piece here on the left hand side that just wiggle around the seat belts until you kind of have it seat in place. Remember, there's that clip on the bottom. And then once we get that in, we just need to line this hole up so we can put the last screw in, and that is how you finish this. Now with both screws in, you can just put this bar through that plastic piece, slip these ends underneath the trim, almost there. Let's do a final test with the new cord in. Pull the lever. There we go. That is how you replace that coil on a Dodge Grand Caravan. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section below. Subscribe, like, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to attach the string to this piece like I did. So don't forget that. Don't forget to do this string. Don't forget it.